Hey everybody, my name is Josh LaFleur from Late Star Piano. Today I'm going to be telling you why so many adults quit playing the piano. And of course, this is all about the piano specifically, but really a lot of these points can be applied to any other area of life, any other area where a lot of people quit and they don't make it to the finish line for whatever reason. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Point number one is learning the piano is or can be overwhelming. So when you're an adult, you have no prior musical experience, you've never taken lessons before, you never played the piano growing up in high school, no one in your family ever played the piano. When you're just starting out, especially if you're older than let's say 30, 35 maybe, it can be very overwhelming because there's so much to learn. You have to learn the hand coordination piece, the finger dexterity, how to move about the piano, how to read sheet music, right? And of course, there's two different lines or two different staffs that you have to read, the top and the bottom, and it can be scary and overwhelming to try to read those both at the same time. And then on top of all that, you also have the sustain pedal. So now you're using your foot plus your fingers. It's a full body exercise. And there's a lot to it. It takes a long time to get good. And it can be very overwhelming if you feel like you have no idea where to begin, or you feel like there's just so much information out there that you are actually drowning in all that information because there's just so much of it. You have no idea where to even start or who to look to for advice. It can be overwhelming. And again, especially when you kind of put this on in addition to looking at other people. So social media, maybe some other 10-year-old or 15-year-old or somebody who's 25 years younger than you, they're playing the piano at a much higher level. Now you kind of feel like shit about yourself because they're playing a lot better than you, even though they're a lot younger. So all of those things combined, they can make adults want to quit and just say, you know what, forget it. This is too hard. Let me move on to something else. Point number two is this is more of a choice. It's adults who don't want to put the time in. So I've said this so many times on this channel, but the absolute minimum that you need to invest in your practice routine to actually see noticeable results is you need to practice for 4 days a week, 20 minutes per day at a minimum. I found that through working with people and talking to different people, instructors and students, this is the most minimum that a student can put in and still make progress. So again, that's 4 days a week, 20 minutes per day. As long as you do that, then you can make progress within a month or a year, 2 years. Anything less than that, you will still improve, but it's going to be at a much slower pace. And again, you're going to feel a little bit discouraged. So I would try to do 4 days a week, 20 minutes per day at a minimum. That's really not a lot. Anybody can do that, even if you are an adult, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have kids, you have a full-time job, you have a business that you're running. Everybody has 20 minutes for 4 days a week every week. So 80 minutes total for the entire week. People have that. Even if you have to get up a little bit earlier, like let's say an hour earlier before work, before your first commitment for the day, and just put in 20 minutes. That's it. But unfortunately, most people, they don't want to do that. They don't prioritize the piano. And it's tough to do that when you're practicing, but you're not really at the level you want to be at yet. So people don't do that. They just don't put the time in. And it's another reason why so many adults quit playing the piano. Again, that point can be applied to anything else that people quit. The gym, for example, or maybe running, if you've been committed to running or trying to eat better. Same thing. People don't want to put the time in. They don't want to stay consistent, so they quit. Point number three is their expectations are too high. So this is the adult who comes in and maybe they actually have a little bit of experience, but maybe they took a break from it and now they're jumping back in. Or they could still be that brand new piano player, but they just feel like they're going to be one of the best piano players ever within a month's time. And I find that most people, they overestimate what they can do in a short period of time. They underestimate what they can do in a longer period of time. So brand new piano players who are adults especially, they will overestimate what they can do, let's say within a month. So if they start from level 0 and within 1 month, they feel like they're going to be at a level 7 or an 8. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. Unless you're extremely talented and you put a lot of time in, I suppose you could. But for most people, especially adults, that's not going to happen. The positive side, the flip side of that, is a lot of them underestimate what they can do within a year or 2 years or 5 years. If you practice the piano consistently for 2 years, you're going to be pretty damn good. Even if you just do that 4 days a week, 20 minutes per day, if you are actually consistent with that and you don't miss a day for 2 years in a row, you will be good at the piano. That's all it takes. You will be good. You'll be able to play probably every song that you want to. Maybe not the classical stuff, the most challenging pieces known to man, but any other song you will be able to play pretty easily. Any rock and roll, probably a lot of jazz and blues, some kind of pop song, anything like that, you will be able to play. But the problem that people have is they don't make it that far because their expectations are so high in the beginning that within that month period, that 2-month period, they reach it, but they're not at the level they want to be at. And they say, well, I guess I'm not talented enough. I guess the piano's not for me, and they quit. So that's kind of the sad reality, is they expect too much in the beginning and they never make it to that 1 year mark, that 2 year mark. And that's when the progress really starts to show, as long as you're being consistent. Next point number 4, is adults are distracted. So when I say distracted, really what I'm talking about is the internet and social media and just life's obligations. So again, I already told you what the minimum is to make progress on the piano. Anybody can do that. The issue is people choose not to. So this is more, I would say, the younger adult from, let's say, 25 to 35, somewhere in that range. And they have a smartphone and they spend so much time on social media that they get distracted. They're on Twitter all day. They're on TikTok, they're on YouTube all day, whatever. Then they come home and they turn on the TV, they watch Netflix, another distraction, and then they get a text message and now they're looking at their phone again. Somebody shares some kind of meme or some kind of funny thing on social media, they send it to them, now they're distracted again. And just distractions everywhere. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, with instant access to pretty much anybody you want to, it's very easy to be distracted and to not practice. And this is really a shame when you have planned your practice routine, but you let these distractions take over your practice time. And then people start not practicing, and you already know what happens from there. They end up quitting because they don't reach their goal that they had for themselves within that first 30 days or first 60 days. Next point is they don't have the right plan or goals in place. So point number 5, they don't have the right plan or goals in place. And I've talked about this before as well, but basically you have short-term piano goals and long-term piano goals. This is what you should be having when you first start. And when you are brand new to the piano, your short-term goals, I'm talking about 1 to 2 weeks. That's how short it is. And the long-term goals, I would say, are 3 to 4 weeks. So your longest goal when you are brand new, and brand new is within your first 1 year of playing, should be about a month. Maybe 6 months if you're really putting in a lot of time and you are getting better quicker. Maybe you can expand that. If you're working with a teacher, they can help you figure that out. But I would say for the most people who are adults, who are sticking to that minimum 4 days a week, 20 minutes per day, your long-term goals should be at a most 1 month. And why is this the case? Because when you are brand new, you want to be able to hit goals pretty quickly. You don't want to be kind of bogged down on one, let's say, difficult piece that's taking you 6 months to learn, because it's not the best thing for your development. When you're that early on, you want to be able to finish pieces fast. You want to be able to get songs under your fingers fast, so that one, you can actually play them and it's positive reinforcement for you that you're getting better and you can actually have fun and you feel like you accomplished something. And number 2, so that you're actually getting that finger dexterity and that hand coordination improved as well. Because if you start off with an extremely difficult piece that's way above your skill level when you are early on, you're going to be stuck probably on the first phrase. You're not going to be able to get past measure 1, measure 2, measure 3. And you're going to be wasting a lot of time practicing difficult concepts that you have no knowledge about just to get 1 or 2 measures done, you don't want to do that, especially if it takes you over a month. That's a waste of your time. Instead, you want to work with a method book or some kind of easier song where you can play the whole thing, even if it's just a page or two. You can play the whole thing within anywhere from a week to a month. So your short-term goals, I would say things can be like learning a scale. So you can learn your C major scale, you can learn your G major scale, your F major scale. The easier scales like that can be in a short term. You can also try to play an arpeggio, let's say 1 octave. You can try C major, G major, F major again. That could be a 1 to 2 week goal. You can try it with both hands together if you can do that within 1 to 2 weeks. Something easy like that. Maybe you learn about swing eighth notes. Maybe swing eighth notes are giving you a hard time versus straight eighth notes. So you can say, as a short-term goal, you want to really kind of understand the concept of swing eighths. And you're going to pick a piece this week that you can practice your swing eighths on so that you can reinforce that into yourself. Those are just some examples of short-term goals. Long-term goals, I would say you can do something like more difficult pieces. So say you've been working on your method book, or you've been working on some easier songs within your short-term goals, and your long-term goals, maybe you can pick a song that you actually really want to play. Maybe it's some kind of theme song from a movie or a TV show. Maybe it's some kind of rock and roll song you like, some kind of pop song you like. As long as you can find a variation of that with sheet music or with maybe some kind of chord playing method that is easy enough for you that you can learn that within 1 month at the most, that can be a long-term goal, okay? And what's going to start happening is you're going to start getting pieces under your fingers. You're going to start to actually be able to move around the piano. You're going to start being able to play a lot better. And you're going to be able to play songs that you actually want to play and that you like if you have one of those as your long-term goal. All right, so with all that said, I do have a free PDF. It's a free guide on my website, www.latestarpiano.com. Link is in the description below. In this guide, we give you 34 essential tips for the adult beginner piano player. It's completely free. All you have to do is click on that big bright purple button on that website, enter in your name and email address, and you'll have instant access to this free guide. Again, in it, we talk about your mindset and approach. We talk about practice strategies. We talk about music theory. And at the end, we'll walk you through your very first song. Again, all that is at www.latestarpiano.com, and it's completely free. If you want to take it a step further, I am offering lessons right now via Zoom. If you're interested in that, send me an email, latestarpiano@gmail.com. We'll set up in a day and a time that works best for you. Happy practicing. My name is Josh with Late Start Piano.